The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. This is Comfortably Zoned Radio, and you're listening to the 50s, when bums and jints walk the streets of New York. I'm Peter Trunk. With me, Ralph Tyko and Ron Rabinovitz. Ralph, how you doing?
I'm just peachy, as Bob would say.
And Ronnie?
I'm great. How you guys doing?
We're doing okay.
Good.
Yeah. Knock wood, huh?
Yeah, really.
What are we, septenarians, septuagenarians?
Yeah.
We're all 71 years old.
We're all old as hell.
You're 71.
Older than dirt.
I'm 72.
But
I'm 72.
The nice thing, we all have our memories and our exceptional passion for not only baseball, how we all got together, but life itself. And
right.
This is fun. Retirement is fun, and the journey is trippy, to say the least. Ups and downs, over and outs. Here I am, 71.
Well, let me start off by just saying that personally, I'm very happy that the Super Bowl is over, because that to me is the official beginning of baseball season, and the pitchers and catchers will be on the TV, and you'll see the palm trees and the hot sun and the white baseballs flashing all over the diamond, and rookies here and rookies there, and trade rumors and everything. It's going to be fantastic, and it's all going to happen within the next 8 or 10 days. It's going to be fantastic. I'm really
you guys
looking forward to
remember when they televised spring training games, and it was just to see Florida with, this is the middle of February, end of March or beginning of March, and it is beautiful in Florida. In back of the stadium, the sailboats go by, and it's Fort Lauderdale, and the Yankees are training, and you'd see a spring training game, and no stars would be in there.
Right.
Maybe one guy playing center field, Jim Pisoni.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But it was cool as hell.
Yeah, it was.
It was cool as hell.
And I remember thinking, I cannot live in a cold weather climate all my life. As soon as I can, I'm out of here. And I didn't, at that time, I never even dreamt of California, but the Air Force took care of bringing me out here.
Mm-hmm.
But my point was, I just knew, and today it's even worse. The bitterness of winter is in the East, and you get it in the Midwest, Ronnie.
Oh, my God, yeah.
And
it was terrible.
Tell us, you had Super Bowl week, and you're driving around for Uber, and it's 4 degrees minus with the wind chill, and what's it like? And what was your experience this week with the Super Bowl? Picking up
it was terrific.
An infamous passenger.
Yes, I sure did. I commissioned a fellow commissioned me to be his driver for the week. His name is Cosmo DiNicola. He lives in Philadelphia. He's a sports agent amongst his other businesses, and his partner is Lee Steinberg. And they're two amazing men. They threw on a party on Saturday afternoon that was absolutely sensational. They must have had 2,000 people there. And they bring in the potential draft choices for the next draft that they have hired, or they have hired, they're together. And they and their parents and there were a lot of media people there. There were sports figures there. I met Mark Cuban, had a nice visit with him. I mean, there were so many people there that were stars. Well, Minneapolis was just flooded with stars everywhere. It was just unbelievable. It was colder than
You got to
hell.
get you a little digital microphone.
Yeah.
A little single battery, little digital thing. They're doing wonder. You can start talking to these people as you meet them and bring your interview on the air. That'd be terrific.
Yeah. And it was just great. I mean, it was cold. It was 2 degrees above zero, 5 degrees above zero. But we are hardy folks around here.
Yeah. You have to be. Are you going to break the news to us on the air that Lee Steinberg got you a tryout for second base with the Dodgers this year?
Yes, yeah. And I'm also working on the next Olympics. I'm going to do the high hurdles and the pole vault.
Whoa. You know, I
in my
heard,
next
and
life.
maybe somebody was teasing me, but they said that next Olympics that I could try out, they have a pocket pool team. And it's gone to the Olympics, and they're looking for a veteran to head up things, and someone with more experience than probably anyone in life. And I hope that everybody has to have an aspiration.
That's right.
As did. Let's.
Right.
Peter, why don't you take us to the topic of the day?
All right.
All right.
I have a brand new topic that no one has ever discussed on one of these shows before. Tongue firmly.
I know
firmly
that it seems like old hat, but revisiting it first of all, there are a lot of folks that pick up on this show and who didn't hear us talking about it and really don't know as much, to be honest with you, don't know as much as we do about Willie, Mickey, and the Duke.
That's it.
And of the three, Duke Snider we know less about him than any of the other superstars.
Mm-hmm.
And this occurred to me the other day. I was talking to Lenny Randall, and he was talking about all the people that came out of his neighborhood, Compton. And when you think of Duke Snider, he's from California and rich neighborhoods and, oranges growing and everything. Duke Snider was fairly impoverished when he was a kid. And I don't know how much of that contributed to his, what was it, an immature personality when he played with the Dodgers. He was kind of had to be pampered a little bit. Is that an image that holds up
those are,
in your head?
Ralph, you and I and Ronnie have been around sports in general and baseball in particular for quite a number of years, and we know as we've come down this long and winding road that there are some guys that you got to kick in the pants, and there are other guys you got to rub them, and you got to be nice to them, and you got to praise them, and this and that to get the best out of them. And Duke Snider always had the reputation of being a guy that you would have to sit down and tell him how great he was and tell him how much he was loved and make him feel more secure, because the Duke got insecure. The Duke wanted to be the best. He didn't want to be good. He didn't want to be very good. Duke Snider wanted to be the best. And he was a gym rat. He played a lot of basketball. He was very successful. He played football, again, very successful. And, of course, baseball, he was just lights out. He was phenomenal. And he used to bat right-handed. His father told him that if you bat left-handed, you'll get 4 or 5 more hits a year because you're 1.5 or 2 steps closer to first base. So he switched and he batted left-hand. I don't know why he never switched hit, but he did switch from right to left. And he always had a great arm. He was always fast before his running speed, before he hurt his knee. And believe me, he hurt his knee more than once. And
I didn't know that. I thought he hurt his knee kind of towards the end of it, like 59.
No, not at all. Not at all, Ralph. No. Duke Snider hurt his knee when he was a young man. Duke Snider hurt his knee.
Back? Well, that's
football,
the first
maybe,
thing
right?
I thought about when Ronnie mentioned Lee Steinberg. I admire people who come back from adversity.
Sure.
And Lee had some problems a few years ago, and he has brought himself back. I didn't realize that Snider had to rehab a knee at one time or another.
Yeah,
Snider
hurt his knee. Snider hurt his knee more than once. He hurt his knee maybe 4 or 5 times, and he played with a brace. He didn't get the press on his bad leg as much as Mantle got the press on his bad legs, plural. But Mantle had shin splints and other things. And Snider's knee was very bad. Snider's knee was horrible. There were a bunch of times when Charlie Dressen said, well, we don't have Snider tomorrow, and Snider would come in and say, no, I can play. I'll put this brace on and I'll play. And he would go out there and hit a home run or whatever, make a great catch in the outfield. Snider's knee was very bad knee, very bad knee.
Why?
And of course,
publicity that Mantle got.
Well, you know what? As you alluded to, as he got older, as Snider got older, see the thing with here's the deal: when the Brooklyn Dodgers team was written about in, let's say, post-1954, when Olsen got there in 54, and the writers were writing, well, they only have one more good run in them because they're old, okay? Reese was old, and Robinson was old, Campanella was old. Snider was not old. Snider was not old, okay? Snider was not even 30 yet, and he was. They threw a blanket. The press threw a blanket over the Brooklyn Dodgers as an old team. The Duke was not old at that time. Snider hit 40 home runs or more 5 years in a row. He hit more home runs in the 1950s than any other baseball player. He drove in more runs. He had more RBIs than any other baseball player in the 1950s. We're talking Ted Williams. We're talking, Williams missed because of Korea, but we're talking Stan Musial. We're talking Mickey Mantle.
We're talking Yogi Berra.
We're talking a lot of people. Okay, we're talking a lot of really good
teammates. You can say,
Gil Hodges and right.
Furillo was an RBI guy.
He's a great team.
He may not have been up there with those other guys, but he was terrific. There was no doubt about it. He did have an advantage, though, being the left-handed hitter in a lineup that was jam-packed full of right-handed hitters.
Yes, absolutely, positively correct. And
that's right.
That's the reason why the Dodgers never pulled the trigger on the 1951 deal that would have sent Snider to the Cubs for Andy Pafko. Now the Dodgers got Pafko later on in a different trade, but the initial trade to get Andy Pafko was Duke Snider was going to go. And, Bavesi and those guys said, no, wait a minute. We got Furillo, Hodges, Campanella, Reese. Everybody's right-handed. We're going to get another guy in Pafko. It's not going to work. We keep Snider. And Snider didn't get traded. Now, it's not Snider's fault that the Dodgers were jammed with right-handed guys, and they hardly ever saw a left-handed pitcher. And Snider very infrequently faced left-handers. but he did in the World Series, and he was very successful against Whitey Ford. You can look it up, as they say.
Yeah.
Snider was a hell of a ball player.
He was a great ball player.
Yes, he was, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Snider suffered because, Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle were just off the charts. I mean, I personally never saw, with my own eyes, never saw a baseball player as good as Willie Mays. And I don't have to tell you how good Mantle was. I don't have to sit here and waste any breath on how great Mickey Mantle was. So Snider was always compared to those two, and he always came out third, which is, believe me, that would not have humbled many people, but evidently it humbled the Duke. He wanted to be the best.
Right. And maybe even fourth, because there was a guy named Pete Reeser who was,
Pistol Pete,
as Bill DeRocha would say, probably as talented as any of those guys. And
well, I can't disagree with you, because Leo DeRocha said, when he saw Pete Reeser, Leo DeRocha said, this is the greatest ball player I ever saw. I mean, he just, talk about effusive. He bubbled over, DeRocha did, and said that this kid is just everything. He's like Ty Cobb. He's everything. He's everything.
Now, Leo bubbled over Willie as well.
Yes, he did.
Was he a Snider fan, or was he the kind of guy that wasn't into cuddling? Although he cuddled Willie in the way that you described.
He did.
So
he had Willie Mays calling him Mr. Leo. Now, in today's world, that's not, I'm not going to say politically correct, but that's not a very strong, very positive picture. Plus, DeRocher was suspended in 47, and then when he came back in 48, in the middle of the year, he moved over to the Giants. So Leo DeRocha had very little to do with Duke Snider as a manager, as a personal manager.
Yeah.
Had very, very little to do with him. So, Snider was
the time
Snider was
got
an enigma.
to L.A., his knee was really toast.
Well, yeah, he was. He was
59. Yeah, but he still
58.
played.
58.
He still
not
played.
only
58.
Yeah. Not only was he coming off like his fourth knee surgery, but right center field at the Coliseum in 1958 was 440 feet.
Right, it was.
Whereas in Ebbets Field it was 344 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you added 100 feet there. He was coming off his fourth knee operation, and he also bet a teammate. I should have asked Carl Erskine about this, and I forgot. It goes to show you should write everything down when you're my age. I forgot to ask him, but Snider bet. Snider bet a teammate while they were working out in 1958 at the Coliseum before the season started, like the day before opening day, which was actually up in San Francisco. But anyway, he bet him $100 that he could throw a ball out of the Coliseum.
Huh.
And a few Dodgers got in on the bet, and they said that he would have 3 tries, or maybe it was 4 tries, to throw the ball out of the Coliseum from the field. And in doing so, he was not successful. He lost the $100, but he also injured his arm. And he injured it so greatly that if you look up the box scores, Snider never played center field. They put him over in right field. He hurt his arm. There's pictures of him with his arm in a sling. He was actually fined by Walter O'Malley or Buzzy Bavasi, same thing. He was fined $400 or $500 or whatever it was for that lame brain thing that he did. So Snider's knee was hurting, his elbow was hurting, right center field was 440 feet away, but he still hit 300, and I think he drove in 75 runs or something like that. Snider was a hell of a ball player.
He sure was.
He really and truly was. He was.
And here's a little trivia for you: Gino Simoli played center field most of the time.
Yeah.
That's right. I remember that.
Number 9.
Especially
Number
opening
9.
day in San Francisco. If I'm not mistaken, Simoli led off
Yes, he did.
the first Giant Dodger game opening day. And wow,
that's true.
1958.
That's true.
58. Can you?
Yep.
We're talking 60 years. I mean, I remember going to my grandparents' golden wedding anniversary, 50 years, and well, actually 49.95. That was in the Jewish neighborhood, but it was. But I just remember being so blown away by the number of years and not being able to picture spending 50 years with my grandmother, let alone anyone.
Right. Right.
And now, 60 years, and we remember it like it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know,
we
game
all. Go ahead.
The game you just talked about with Simoli leading off up in San Francisco, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that game. Les Kiter for White Owl. Remember Les Kiter for White Owl?
Oh, absolutely.
The reenactment.
You heard it on a recreation. I must have heard.
I heard it on a recreation. I'll tell you how. Because the game started at 1 o'clock in San Francisco, so it was 4 o'clock in New York, and about 5:30 or something like that, or 5:15 or whatever. WINS in New York Wins had Les Kiter do the game, and I listened to it. And I'm not so sure if I was as gullible as I'm about to say. I thought I was listening to it live, but I definitely remember listening to the game.
Oh, you remember that?
Did the recreation? You did.
Yeah, they recreated games with the ticker tape and everything that you used to.
Yes, he did.
And
he
had a bat and a thing. He get the sound effects going. And
I used to listen
if
to
it was
that.
a rain delay or a lot of foul balls. He just
when the ticker tape when the ticker tape would break down, he would have like 100 foul balls. And, another foul over to the right, and then the manager would come out and discuss something with the pitcher, or the catcher would go out to the mound and stuff. He would just waste time until the ticker came back up. And when the ticker came back up, it not only came up where it left off, it came up with all the residual that he had missed. So all of a sudden, going from the slowest of the slow of this foul ball and another foul ball, and the wind is blowing and another foul ball. All of a sudden it was ball 1, and here the ball 2, ball 3. He was doing it fast because he had all this information that he had to get in. It was really funny. It really and truly was funny. And he used to say things like when Mays would hit one, let's say Mays would hit one in a gap, and it'd say, "There goes Willie, look at him go. Look at him go." He used to say, "This is radio." And he would say, "Look at him go." And then he would slide into third base. He would slide safely into third base, and Les Kiter would say, "He beat the ball. He beat the ball." And
right.
Beat the ball? What the hell does that mean? He's safe. That's what it means. He beat the ball. Oh, that was fantastic.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, it was great. It was so funny.
We missed the team in person so much as kids. It was horrible. I do remember rooting for the Braves with all my heart in the '57 World Series.
Oh, absolutely.
Yankees
So did I.
Then.
I got a Milwaukee hat.
I was at the game.
I was
at the World Series.
I had a Milwaukee cap.
Yeah, my dad took me to that game, to World Series game. Yeah,
I love that World Series.
It was great.
5-0. The 7th game, 5-0 Braves. It was fantastic. Luber beat them 3 times.
Yeah,
and I love the '58 Braves with all my heart too. And
couldn't believe they lost that World Series. They had 3 games to 1.
Yeah, and they blew it.
They blew it.
They had a good.
I remember the last out in that World Series. Red Shanedeans flied out to center field. I remember the last out. I cried like a baby. Cried like a baby.
The Yankees won again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe Adcock at first. Shady second. Johnny Logan.
Platooning with Torrey. You got Shane Dings, Mantilla,
Del Crandall.
Hogan.
Then you had
Wes Covington.
Catchers, Del Rice, Del Crandall, Stan Lopato.
Right.
Played
you
on
had
that
an
team.
ABC outfield. Aaron, Bruton, and Covington.
Yeah,
Wes Covington. That's right. See, you pronounce it wrong. It's Brutone. I've never pronounced it any other way when I played dice baseball or simulation baseball. Billy Brutone.
Never do that.
And you had Andy Pafko. You mentioned him before, Peter. He was terrific with the Cubs. He really helped them. And, I mean, he was the guy standing against the wall in 51.
Yeah, 51.
So he was a hell of a...
Pafko at the wall.
And then he goes to the Braves, and he platoons with Covington on that terrific team. Did you remember collecting Topps baseball cards in 58?
Sure.
They had every Brave and every prospect. The Braves, 28 cards of the Braves. I collected all 28 guys. Had Aaron on an All-Star.
I'm gonna name a Milwaukee Brave and see if you remember him, Ralph.
I know him all.
Okay, Hurricane Hazel.
Oh yeah, the pinch hitter that had this year that he pulled out of his butt in 1957.
Right. He was unbelievable.
He had it over 400.
Yeah, right,
absolutely.
423 or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't. He had it over 400. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It wasn't enough at bats to qualify for the batting.
Oh no. Oh, absolutely not.
No. But he was good.
Oh, he was terrific.
And that pitching staff.
Prospects they had coming up, Johnny Demerit and Bob Hawk Taylor coming up. It was just a deep, terrific team. And
it was.
Topped off after Campy had his tragic accident. Del Crandall became the best catcher in the National League.
He was excellent. Yeah.
He really was.
And the pitching staff, Warren Spahn, oh my God, Lou Burdett, Bob Buell, Gene Connolly.
You know, Peter was saying write things down. I never write anything down. Things come in and out of my head like it's. But a question that has always come in my head when I wasn't on the air with Ronnie Rabinovitz is, had the Dodger and Giant trade gone through with Jackie Robinson, would you have bought a New York Giant cap?
No.
No?
I wouldn't have. I was a Dodger.
Really?
You
were a Dodger fan? But I thought you were a Jackie fan more than the Dodgers.
I was a Jackie fan. I was too. I was a Jackie fan.
You would have bought a Dodger. So you're saying there's a possibility that you might have bought one, or you might have bought one if somebody gave it to you?
Yeah. I was just stymied when they did that. I was shocked. It was a terrible thing. And I'm so glad he quit.
If I wanted to buy a Brooklyn Dodger cap, as Peter and I have talked about for 10 years, and I wanted an authentic one that looked exactly like the Brooklyn Dodgers, it would be very difficult. There are very few people that put out caps. It used to be Roman cap, New Era. Whoever it is, they don't put them out with the right color, the right little, the white button on the top, and or the right emblem, whatever it is. Peter,
sadly, Ralph,
am I right?
You're not only right. Sadly, you're right, and I'll tell you, it boggles the mind because when they get the color right. Okay, when a company gets the color correctly, they get the B screwed up. When they get the
something's
B
wrong.
perfect, when they get the B perfect.
The color.
There's no white. There's no white button on the top, and the blue is too blue. It's too bright. It's not just bright. So, in order to find an authentic Brooklyn cap, remember McAuliffe?
Yeah, they were
uniforms and caps.
the official cap.
Yes.
Back in the day,
Yes.
they were like $5.95 for an official McCullough cap in the back of Baseball Digest.
Yep.
And that cap never went through my hands. I don't know if
too expensive.
It was $5.95.
Who the hell could afford $5.99
right
back then?
Right.
I certainly couldn't.
It was a lot of money.
No way.
But I wish I'd have bought 10 Yankee caps, 10 Dodger caps, and 10 Giant caps. $5.95 each. Invested it. Could you imagine what they'd be worth?
Could you imagine what they'd be worth today?
Yeah.
I have a Brooklyn Dodger cap that's signed by Duke Snider. It's got Duke's signature on it. Yep.
I have one too.
Yeah. The Duke.
He signed it in silver magic marker.
Yep, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right on the blue.
I have one.
Exactly. I have that too. And by the way, as far as the baseball cards, Carb, I used to have every baseball card from 1951 on. My dad's law office was right next to a tobacco and candy wholesaler. And he'd bring me the Topps cards. I'd get the whole series, and I'd put them into teams. I would alphabetize them, and I had them in little rubber bands. I had a cigar box for them. And when I was listening to a game, I would take them out, and the starting lineup would be on my desk.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you.
You go through the cards with the starting lineup, and then you'd flip them over.
Flip them over to the next one. That's right. And if a guy was traded from the Phillies to the Reds, I'd cross out Phillies and put Reds on it.
Oh, man.
It was a hobby card in those days.
I hate to admit this, but how old were you when you did that?
Well, 51, I was 6 years old.
Okay. Now, I was about, let's see, I'm 71 now. I was about 65, maybe 63. When I used to do that, when I would play Stratomatic, I used to get my cards out, and I did the same thing. I'd have the lineup. I'd have the cards. If I was playing the 57 Dodgers against the 57 Giants, I would have my cards out. And I was a grown man. I was a retired, grown human being. And I was.
You were a kid at heart.
You were 6 years old. You had an excuse. I didn't have any excuse. I was just a total nerd.
I have a league going on a baseball sim thing called Baseball Mogul.
Oh, yeah.
And it is, I've had this league going a long time. Here are the 10 teams in my league, guys. You'd appreciate it more than any two people in the world. You ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The 58 Braves. The 61 Reds. The 64 Cardinals. The 64 Phillies. The 54 Giants. And the 55 Dodgers, the 62 Giants and the 63 Dodgers, the 69 Cubs, the 64 Cardinals, what other teams are there? The Pirates, the 60 Pirates, the Reds, the 61 Reds.
Yeah.
All the best teams are.
Did you have the 69 Mets, Ralph?
I don't play the Mets in that league.
Okay, all right.
And just the computer does everything. It keeps all the box scores.
Yeah, sure. I know. Same with Strat.
Great.
Yeah. Oh, you have Strat on the computer?
I have both. I have the game itself. I have two games in case one of them wears out. I have two of them with, the paper and everything. And the other one I have on the computer. Like I would play, like for instance, like you said, the computer will play against you.
Right.
Yeah.
You can actually play, like I could manage the 62 Mets for their whole schedule, and the computer would play against me. Now, the real Mets were 60 and 120. I played the 62 Mets.
You can never play the 62 Mets on a simulation game and have them lose 120 games.
Nope.
It isn't possible for a team to play as bad as they play.
But I'll tell you what, I did it, and they lost 111.
Whoa. Whoa.
I also listen to this. I also did on my Stratomatic. I did the 41 season, and Ted Williams in real life hit what, 406?
Yeah.
Right.
In my simulation, he hit 403. DiMaggio hit in 56 consecutive games. On my simulation, he hit 49 consecutive games.
Holy Toledo.
How do you like that?
Now, on Stratomatic simulation games, can you pick any team in history like you can on Baseball Mogul?
Yes, but you have to send away. You have to get them in your computer. In other words, when you buy Stratomatic for your computer, they'll give you the 2017 MLB.
Right.
In other words, when you buy the game, you have the 27. It's included when you buy the game. Now you can go into their catalog, and you can get the 41 season, the 1960. I played the Federal League. I got 1914 and 1915, the Brooklyn Tip Tops, and I put myself as the center fielder instead of Bernie Koff. Did you ever hear of Bernie Koff? K-A-U-F. He played center field in the major leagues, and he also played in the Federal League. He was a real great ball player. They called him the Ty Cobb of the Federal League. He stole like 60, 70 bases. He would hit like 370 or whatever. But he used to steal cars. He used to the guy was always in jail. The guy was always in jail. He was always getting fired and suspended and thrown out of every league almost he played in. And he used to steal automobiles. I mean, he was crazy. And instead of Bernie Kopp, what I did was I put in Pete Trunk. I put myself in, and I played for the 1914 and the 1915 Tip Tops. I hit like 360.
You know, I did that with me. I was Robbie Thompson's. I was the Robbie Thompson of the giant all-star team that I put together on the Tony La Russa game. That's another one. It's an older one.
You guys are funny.
I can't get it. Yeah, we're nuts is what it amounts to.
Ralph, I got to ask you a question.
Yes.
Being a Tops rep, okay?
Yes.
All right. How many, if you get a whole series of cards, okay, for the whole year, how many packs of cards would they be? You know, because they were packs, you had a piece of bubble gum. And it was the best bubble gum in the world. Oh, was that the best?
Oh, yeah, ask my dentist.
Yeah, me too. You come in, I have 14 cavities at a time.
So, there's no way to quantify how many packs it would take because it's so random to accumulate a set.
Yeah.
In answer to your question.
Yeah.
But
because I had the whole series. I had the Willie Mays, the rookie cards, everything. They're all gone. I mean,
there's a book that I'm sure you both know about, and if you don't, I'll be helping you. It's a book of all the Topps cards that ever were.
Really?
I think they stopped. They have two printings of it, one up through 85 and then one through 90 something.
Yeah, I have one of those somewhere. I sent away for that.
Yeah,
I think that's
one. A great book, and
yes.
And as Peter, there are recreation sets that Topps has put out.
I love
bought
those.
all the Dodger. You bought every Brooklyn Dodger.
Well, you know what they have? They I don't know if it was Topps or not. There was a company that put out in 1995, I want to say, and I think I'm right there. 1995, someone put out every Brooklyn Dodger card. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if it was Topps or Bowman or whatever. Every Brooklyn Dodger card from 1952 to 1956, inclusive. And you can you can get them on eBay now, and they're not as expensive as you would think. They also have in that pack, in that box, they have what they call never were cards. Okay.
Like
they have like 19, yeah, like a Roberto Clemente and a Koufax 1957. Koufax is different, and they would do some different cards, but 95% of them are exactly the duplicate of the real cards. And like I said, you can get them sealed in the box for like under $50.
Well,
I got like two boxes of them. They're great. They're tremendous.
No kidding. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I will look.
Yeah.
They're on eBay.
Well, on eBay?
Yeah. You know what you do? You go on eBay. And you on the top. You don't even have to go to books or sports or hobbies but that's bullshit. Just go to eBay and on the top, type in Brooklyn Dodger reprints. That's all. Brooklyn Dodger reprints, and then hit search.
Okay.
Then hit search. Okay, and then you'll see all the reprinted stuff. They have reprinted yearbooks. They have reprinted scorecards, World Series scorecards.
Oh my God!
They have reprinted bubblegum cards and everything. And if you see something that you like, let me just give you this in advance, because I love you guys and I don't want you to get ripped off. Don't be an asshole and just say, "Oh, I want that. I always wanted that. I'm going to buy it." And you send your X number of dollars or whatever. No. You go there, you see what you like, and then you go to the left-hand side and go scroll down a little bit and go to completed listings or sold listings, and click on it, and it will show you what all of those boxes of reprint cards sold for within the last 30 or 60 days. So if you think $100 is a really good price, you might see that somebody bought it last week for $39.99. So you'll get an idea of what to bid. You understand what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Cool.
Well, some of them,
that's how you do it.
eBay, my limited experience with eBay, some of them you can get, some things you can go on and you say bid or buy now.
Yes, buy it now, right? You can, right? Let me give you a little hint on that too. Let's say you want to bid on something, and there's like six days and 8 hours left. You don't bid on it. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a thing where it says "Watch List," WATCH, and you click on that, and then you go to My eBay, which is your own personal eBay page, and you can watch it. So when it goes down to you see how high the price is getting. Now, you wait until you put it up on your screen when there's like a minute left, and you watch it, and when there's like 9 seconds left, you bid your best price. That's how you win it. Because if you bid 5 days before, what you're doing is you're raising the price. Sure. In other words, if the thing is going for $10, and you say, "Oh man, this thing is worth $25, definitely." So you put $25. Joe Blow in Idaho puts down $11. Joe Schmeckeldorf in Montreal puts down $12.
I know him.
Eats all the way up, and then you might win it, but you're paying $25 instead of $11. So you don't bid on it. People are stupid, man. Goya Shakub. Talk about Goya Shakub. They're dumb as hell. They keep bidding over and over. What they're doing, they're bidding against themselves. They're raising the price. You don't do that. You wait. I just got a Brooklyn Dodger jacket today with leather sleeves, and everything from the 1950s. I only have about 5 or 6 of them. But anyway, I got it $26.
No
and
kidding.
the way I did it was, all I did was watch it. I watched it. Nobody, if I started bidding on it, I would have raised the price up. Anyway, we're getting off the subject here. You can get, right now, Ralph, if you're interested in 1957 Giants Topps cards, there's a guy who's got 11 of them, and they're not reprints. He's got 11 Giants cards.
Wow.
And if I'm not mistaken, one of them is Willie Mays for $29.
Well, you have, if I remember correctly, a long-sleeve flannel Leo DeRocher number 2.
Yeah.
You remember how we used to wear the 3/4
Sure.
sleeves?
And that's the way they made it.
Right. And that is the prize of your collection, as far as I'm concerned. I have, yeah, but wait a minute. Whoa. I have a flannel home Willie Mays jersey. No name on the back, no bullshit. No name on the back, just 24 Giants on the front, a real one.
Yep.
Well,
100% wool, made by the company in Philadelphia.
Ebbets Field Flannels.
Ness, something in Ness.
Oh yeah, that's a great company too.
Yeah.
As well.
Yep.
Yes.
You know why he wore number 24?
Jackie Robinson backwards.
Because somebody else had 42, so he reversed it to 24. Did you know that?
Whoa. And did you know that when he went in the service, I think it was a guy named Sam Calderon, but could have been McRain or something like that, wore 24 until he got out.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
Wait a minute now.
As much
there are places on the internet where you can go, like historical San Francisco Giants uniform numbers, and you just click on it, and it'll bring you to a site where every year from the 1800s or whenever the Giants started wearing numbers, probably 1930s, and they'll have every number, or everybody who wore 1, everybody who wore 2, everybody who wore 3, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
They have that with every team. They have it with
every team.
And there's also a great book out. It's Now Batting number ... And it's a book with that's divided into 4 or 5 different categories. All of them individual teams, this, that, and the other thing. It's a great book.
Well, you turned me onto a book last week, Ralph. You didn't even know you turned me onto a book last week called The Jocks by Leonard Schechter. I have it in my hands right now. I sent away for it. I paid like $1 or something like that. And today,
it's a great book.
Yeah, I know. And you know what? Today I got a book. You guys have to get this book. You have to get it. It's called Subways Are for Sleeping. It was written by a guy named Edmund Love, Love, in 1956, and it's about the vagrants and the hobos who lived in New York City in the 1950s and how they survived, where they slept, what they ate, what trains they took to sleep at night. Yeah. Oh yeah. They follow this one guy. He's got his master's degree from the University of Michigan.
No kidding.
He was a CPA and a school teacher, and he's a vagrant. He had 2 suits, 2 ties, 2 pairs of underwear, and what he used to travel by train. He'd go from one end to the other end, and then go upstairs, cross the platform, go downstairs, get on the train again, and go back. He used to get 5 hours sleep a night doing that. And it's just a fascinating. And let me tell you something. Our show is the 50s, when bums and jints walk the streets of New York. This book is right up our alley. It's called Subways Are for Sleeping, and it's Edmund Love, Love. V-E.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We did Subways in Sheboygan.
When you came into New York on business, though, didn't you use the subway, Ronnie?
Once in a while,
you just use cabs?
I usually took cabs. I usually took cabs. Yeah. I usually took cabs. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time in New York. It was great. I haven't been there in years. Oh my God, it's been so long.
Great.
I hear all the delis are gone.
Maybe this spring again. You never know.
Good.
We had a good time, Peter. That was a great.
Oh, I'm sure you did. I was very honored. I was very honored just to be a very small part of that trip.
No, you were a
little microcosm of that trip, but that was great.
You were a very big part of it. Hey, we'll save Willie and Mickey for another show. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah. This
All
was
right,
fun.
great.
This was really
fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
fun.
Great.
Yeah.
A lot of fun, as usual. I thank both of you for coming on, and it's the worst thing. The worst thing that I ever hear during the week is when I'm ready to call the show to start the show, and one of you emails me or messages me and says, I have a sore throat, I can't make it, or I can't do this, something came up, I can't make it. I'm crestfallen. I'm totally pissed off and sad and everything rolled into one. It's so great. It's so great to sit around and talk with you guys about stuff that we love. And we understand it. It's really a lot of fun. I'm already looking forward to next week. I want to thank both of you for participating. I want to thank our listening audience, as usual, the people that listen to us all the time, and the Comfortably Zone Radio, run by Tally Olson, and who does a great job, by the way. And it's a privilege, believe me, it is. And until next week, I bid both of you gentlemen a good night. Ralph Tyko and Ron Rabinovitz.
Thanks, Peter. Take care. Thanks, Ralph. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.